Well, hello and welcome to the Medusas. We're actually here. Everybody's here. And if you watched the earlier live broadcast, you'll notice that this must really be live because I'm wearing the same shirt. So the Medusas had a very interesting last episode. Who wants to sum that up? Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Virginia, go.
You scared me. And I also don't have my character sheet out.
Need assistance, Virginia?
Maybe, I'm sorry.
It's alright. I kind of remember it. So like we were with the silver dude and we went in the boat and like we went out to the sea where like Areia knew where the thing was with the silver dude and Trizzle, and we saw Vorsu went and he was like up in the sky and the locate object was on him, so we're like, oh, he totally has it, right? And he was right into the water like really hard and he like really fast. So then we were like, dope, let's go in the water. So we did. And then we went in the water and we saw like the underground volcano that is the mouth of Deepa. And Vorsu was like, what's up? I'm actually the stone. It's like part of me now. We're going to end the world because I'm going to unleash Deepa and everything's going to be fire and it's going to be cool. And we're like, bro, that's not really cool. But then Capella was like, I'm going to make an air bubble and like move the water, and a silver shark came and it was Silver Dude from the boat. And he was like, oh, I guess I know you have the milk now. And we were like, oh, darn. And that's where we left off.
Yeah, I just found my notes and I just wrote, Azorn is here naked.
Yes.
All right.
So thank you.
That is a excellent summary and addendum to the notes. So you guys are inside the air sphere, which isn't really, I was thinking about this. It's not like you made air happen, but you basically pulled the air out of the water and then pushed the water out. So either way, you're in an air bubble. And you're standing on the lip of a volcano. And yes, indeed, Master Azorn, in all of his silver tiefling glory, has transformed from a glowing shark back into his humanoid self, buck naked, and he's standing amongst you. And if you recall, his demeanor was didn't seem like angry or aggressive or offensive, but more just like, oh, so you have the milk of Busey. How interesting. And that is exactly where we will pick up. So he looks at all of you. He looks around at this air bubble. And he looks at Capella, who's, remember, you know, the stone is still emanating this powerful light. And he says, so... And he looks out into the ocean and up. What about your friend, the large winged creature?
The Vorsu.
That's not like any Vorsu I've ever seen.
Apparently to us, he said he was the chosen of fire.
Make an insight check. Anybody with insight proficiency, go ahead.
17.
That'll do.
19.
You catch a small flicking of his eyes for ever such a brief moment after you say that. You saw his eyes just kind of like briefly widen and then close back. And then he kind of looks down into the volcano, into the crater. I see. Chosen of fire. That is quite a revelation. Particularly since that title is currently held by Vrajator Dumnezu, the High Wizard of the Mantirum.
Well, I'm not sure what any of the Chosens are, but I'm assuming now, since you see we have this, and you're interested in him, then you know of the stones as well?
Yes. Of them, yes. Have I ever seen one? And he looks down again at your hands, holding the milk of Vusek, and he's like, I have not. They are radiant, are they not?
They hold great power, and we must attest this is part of our journey, not for power, but for the protection of the realms. You see, we had heard that some other group was trying to use them to open some kind of portal to that would destroy this continent. And so we've been almost racing after them, trying to collect them ourselves to protect them before they could get to them. I once held in my hand the tear of Deepa, but it was stolen from us by those creatures.
Interesting. And now, that one has obviously been affected by its awesome magical power. Yet I do not see you taking on a liquid form or other strange features that would alter yourself. So why is it that that one looks different?
We don't know exactly how these stones work as much. I only recently figured out that I could even channel it in this sense. Previously, we had just thought that they could be used to open a portal and to enhance certain magical abilities. But being one that carries no magical abilities or previous connection to Vusek, that I'm sure maybe somebody who has stronger attunement to them might be able to do something like that.
Is it your intention to give this stone to Kor Paigambar? After all, he does hold the title of Chosen of Water.
We have considered that, but the worrying thing nowadays is that you don't quite know who is trustworthy. So when we were in that area, we had made the decision that if we handed something that powerful over, we don't know what could happen, especially with these politics. If one area has so much power, it could lead to the endangerment of those around.
Wisdom. Wisdom indeed. Will your friend, the winged one, part with the tear of Deepa? Can you persuade him to give it to you?
He was hard to communicate with, but from what we could understand, it isn't something that he physically possesses anymore. It's something that's been absorbed into him. Whether it be a physical object inside that could be removed, or if it's been bonded to his integral self, we are not sure of.
Ah, this perhaps would explain his strange transformation and utter deviation from those of his species. I see. What now, then, will you do? You have found what you sought, have you not? The mouth of Deepa? Is it your intent to climb down into that endless chasm for some reason? Or do you intend to return to the surface?
Well, I suppose now there is nothing down there for us to find. We're trying to find the tier again, and now that he's left with it, he did say that he travels this same path every day. So if we had to meet with him again, he does talk to us. Like we said, we knew him for a time before this transformation. So it was possible he could be reasoned with, but we still, there would be no feasible way I could see to remove the stone of my knowledge.
Yes. This is quite a quandary indeed. Perhaps we should return to my abode and conduct some research on these matters. I take it that you still have the ability to breathe water.
Probably.
Very well. Then I will suggest that we return to the ship that I've chartered and go back to the city and ponder these most weighty matters. And with that, you see he dives out of your air bubble back into the ocean. And as he does so, he transforms into a shark and swims up.
Wow.
So, what do you guys do?
That's a cool.
I'll say that you guys have about 15 minutes left of water breathing.
Wasn't
Should
it an
we-
hour to get down here? Or how long did it take to get down here?
You might be right.
I mean, we still have potions of water breathing.
That's true. And also, you're in an air bubble. So, talk amongst
Oh.
yourselves and decide what you're going to do.
Capella, do you know how long that air bubble of yours will last for? Like if we swim up with it?
No, apparently because it doesn't feel like it's faltering as long as I keep concentrating, but the only previous times I've seen this do anything like this, it only lasted for a couple minutes. So we could try. I don't know how we could move, because it follows me, but if we're in an air bubble, I can't move up. Like, I can't push myself up if I'm standing on dry ground.
That's true.
If the rope got close to where the bottom is, I could pull up and we could follow around me, but I don't know how close the rope is.
That's fair. I mean, do you just want to like use our potions and go, or one of us can use a potion and then like Bullstrong or I could use it and then hold you by the arm and then drag you up with us? Like a big rope chain of people.
Meta moment. When you were referring to how, like, describe how when you were explaining your thoughts about the whole rope, how did your character actually look or do? Like, what were you looking at and what were you doing?
For me?
Yeah.
I would be going and still holding like this and sort of gesturing back to where we came from, and then back to, to focus on this, but I remembering back to the other times that it faltered and such. And
So here's what happens. When you did that, when you gestured, the sphere like blurbed that way. It was like, and it like extended itself that way and then
that's
kind
pretty,
of came back.
So you can extend it?
That's cool.
So that means we could probably. So if I did.
So when you do this, that's what happens. It goes,
Nice.
and it becomes more like a funnel. So it's about the same volume, but you can change the direction.
Oh, so we
That's
could.
cool.
If I continue up, then we could still swim and get, lift from this way.
Make a percentile roll.
A percent. DJ, give me your percentile dice. I lost my percentile. Yeah. The 00. I don't know what that means.
You got a
0,
one.
0?
Yeah,
A 0 on both dice.
like this. No,
Yeah.
well, that's
Okay.
0, and then
Oh.
do I need to roll another one, or is
Yeah.
that?
Roll
Yeah.
a d10, yeah.
Where's my D10 go? There it is.
Something crazy about to
And
happen.
then a 3.
So that is a 0-3. So here's what
Okay.
happens. As you're like, yeah, maybe I could like flow up. And when you do that, there's an explosion of blue light. And the entire tunnel, the entire funnel opens up hundreds of feet through the ocean. And it starts swirling around, and you guys all start kind of lifting, like you're like, whoa. And it's like a levitate spell that's shaky. So it's not perfectly smooth. You're like, oh, like riding on the air, but there's like turbulent, roiling water underneath you, like 10 feet below you, but you're flying up through basically like an underwater hurricane.
That's
Up air.
cool.
And you're in the eye of it, and you start shooting up through hundreds of feet of ocean, and the entire ocean is just swirling around you, and you get up to a point where, and by the way, you guys are moving at a speed of like 120 feet instead of 30 feet per round. You're at like 120 feet, so you're flying up, right? And you guys are like, oh my god, and you could see like the surface of the ocean above you. And then you just shoot out, right? And behind you, all that water that was roiling pushes up under you. And now you're not just in the air. There's literally like a spurt of water, like a geyser, and it throws you guys up like 100 feet into the air. And then you're like, ah! And you splash down. So now you are all soaking wet, and you like swim up to the surface, and you're literally swimming on the surface, and you see like 100 yards away, you see the ship.
Are we hurt?
Oh gosh, now we are gonna be.
I shouldn't have asked. I'm
question.
sorry. I'm sorry.
I mean, so realistically, I think you take a D6 for every like 20 feet that you would fall, but it's water, so you'd soak some of that. I'm gonna say it's like a negligible amount of hit points. Like each one of you takes like 5 hit points in just like bludgeoning damage from falling 60 feet into the ocean. But no, you know what? That's because when people do like cliff diving, sometimes it's like 50 or 60 feet, and they're not like dying.
It's
You
just
don't
the way
think-
we land.
We
Yeah.
just got awful like red
Yeah.
marks
Big,
all over.
yeah.
Extend your feet. and
Splash.
Like a
when you
bad
belly
belly
flop, but
Yeah, like
really
a
bad.
bad belly flop.
Belly flop.
Exactly. So you're hitting the water. It hurts. You're a little bit like, like maybe you got the air knocked out of you, but you're alive, and you're swimming on top of the sea. And you could see the boat, the
It
ship.
was easy.
Capella,
Wait,
that was the coolest thing ever. How did you do that?
No, the coolest thing ever is if she would have rolled 100, because then you all would have drowned.
Wait, what? Okay, so
Wow.
number 1, that was awesome. Number 2, before we get back to the boat, what just happened? Like, I
Water.
feel like we like You know, like with Master Azorn, I feel like we shouldn't have told him that much, maybe? Like,
You are having this discussion while you're swimming back to the boat. I just want to remind you of that.
okay.
Carry on.
I'm quietly saying this.
I'll
in my
be.
doggy paddle.
I think we should talk about it when we're in private between us.
Okay, that makes sense.
To be fair, I only said that much because I didn't want to die. So
No, that's completely fair. I am not criticizing what you said at all. I'm just saying.
He did
It's a shark.
He did come straight at us as a giant white shark.
It's a sh-
he was probably just concerned that we don't give this because the other kingdom is the water people, and if the king had this, then they would probably have an extreme amount of power.
How cool would it be if we got the Tirdeepa though? Because then we'd have political sway over both Gobble Kylish and the Mantiro, because they both want those stones.
Well, all of them, I imagine. Like I said, I have barely any magic. I have only the slightest amount of magic in my heritage, and I am trained in 0 magics. I have no prior connection to any particular god, and I just made a hurricane. So I can imagine what the literal chosen of water could do, or even like a proficient wizard or warlock.
Good point.
You're still swimming.
Oh my god, there's so much swimming.
Okay.
Yeah,
I
I
wish I
think we
could like
should,
just make a wave. And
yeah. Why don't we just
when
go
we
full-
go to
Yes, please.
Azorns or whatever, we should like find a private space and talk more.
I mean, he doesn't seem, because again, he could have just taken this from us. So
I heard
Or
you
killed
say, I
us.
wish I could just make a wave. So here's what happens.
Stop
Suddenly a,
No,
saying
check
big
it.
wave, suddenly a big wave starts to rise underneath you and starts to crest. And you guys inadvertently basically start like body surfing. Like you're on your bellies and you're like,
Epic.
what is
Hyperbole.
happening? And it pushes you at an accelerated pace, probably about halfway, and then kind of like dies down. So you're closer.
Right.
And eventually you get to the ship. They toss down a couple ropes. The crew pulls you guys up, and you're back on the ship. By this time, Azorn obviously has already made it back to the ship. He's dressed in his robes like nothing ever happened. You see Trizzle like looking at you guys in awe.
You see my wave?
I surfed.
Yes, Trizzle saw the magic of the water stone.
Pretty cool, huh, Trizzle?
Matter.
Capella can wield its powers?
Apparently so.
Is Capella the chosen of water?
That's a good question.
Yes.
Capella?
I mean, I couldn't imagine. Lately I have been feeling a stronger connection to Busey, but I haven't had any prior training in this manner, so I wouldn't know.
This is quite mysterious to Trizzle. And he looks at Bullstrong and he's like, you're very wet.
Yes. I was surfing.
Your wife's gonna be so mad.
Trizzle walks away. Azorn tells the captain to bring the ship back to the port. You guys are on the ship for a little bit, not that long. Ship gets back to the docks. Everybody gets off. You guys walk up the walkway, back up to the plateau. Carriage is waiting. You all go back, and you get back to Orisfetchi. Azorn invites you back to his abode, and you guys get back there, and strangely enough, there are now servants. You see multiple servants. In fact, several of the human servants that you recognize from his manor in Zidmare are now here in the capital. They attend to your needs, basically. Like, they draw baths for you guys. They give you like an exchange of finery and clothing that's nice and clean and dry. They, you know, do your laundry, all that kind of stuff. There's a big dinner that's served. And at a certain point, after the dinner, Master Azorn invites you to his study. This study is extensive, with a crazy amount of books, maps, scrolls, tablets, other contraptions and trinkets of various oddities. Should you bother to detect magic, the entire room just radiates magic, just stupid amounts of magic everywhere. And basically, Master Azorn says, I must confess that your situation intrigues me. And I am certainly put into a curious position with this knowledge. You see, on the one hand, loyalty to the Mantirum is expected, especially from one of my stature, being of the noble houses, the upper noble houses, and my position within the Mantirum. Information about your knowledge and what you possess, as well as the existence of this very enhanced Vorsu, could be worth a tremendous amount of political capital, shall we say. Particularly regarding the matter of the Tier of Deepa being in the possession of your Vorsu. This would be extraordinarily valuable information for the High Wizard. But on the other hand, I find myself intrigued with the possibility that you could be on the cusp of unlocking very great and ancient powers, which apparently you must have some affinity with based on your ability to manipulate the milk of Vusek. Tell me, if you were in my position, what would you do?
Not kill us.
Pretend it never happened.
Well, fortunately for you, it would be a great injustice for a nobleman of my stature to kill any of his guests. That will not happen, I assure you.
What?
It would be cultural and political suicide of me to do such a thing. Nor would it benefit me. But in these matters, curiously, I find myself open to your counsel. So, again, knowing what you know, and knowing what you know about me now, and my position within the Mantirum, what should I do? What do you think I should do?
Well,
You could help us.
well, the Mantirum, what we have provided is very valuable information, and if the Mantirum was able to get a hold of this, the tier, then I could definitely see this state also holding great power, but in the same sense, it might also endanger people.
And as for you, being in possession of the milk of Vusek, do you not see the danger that you yourself are in?
I
Not
do
from-
accept
Not
that.
from the Mantirum, of course. I speak of from my experiences diplomatically with Kabul Kailish. The fanatics of that theocracy would likely be quite outraged that one of their most sacred artifacts has been taken. While I admire Kor Paigambar as an honorable leader, I do admit that I am concerned for your lives, considering the fact that you have that item in your possession. I hope that no one knows that you have it in your possession.
We hope so too. That's the other concern. When we did have the tier, however, someone did. People did find out about it quite quickly, both with the Vorsu and other assassin thief-oriented groups that would be sent after us. And even with our adventuring and combat prowess, I find it a little dangerous, but...
One moment. You say that there are some who know? Assassins and thieves? What do you speak of?
There have been a few times that we can recall that it seems that people knew of the tier, not yet the milk, but when we had it, it had been a couple different times where people seemed to have known about it before we even knew. We met with Corporate Gump in when we were in the capital, and one of his advisors had asked us about it before we had said anything. Of his great wizard or something like that.
Interesting. Well, I must clearly ponder the choices. I urge you to stay here and feel free to explore my library. Use it as you will for research. I will also be spending some time in contemplation. And perhaps tomorrow morning we can reconvene and discuss this more. He bows, steps back, bows again, and then he walks out.
Wow.
Wow.
All right, guys.
Suddenly,
What a day.
one of the bookcases starts to creak, and you see it start to move.
Oh,
And the bookcase
What?
swings open.
Ooh.
all
And you
right.
see the face of Trizzle pop out, and he's like, friends,
Hi, buddy.
you are not safe.
Why not?
What?
There is danger.
But we're always danger. Which kind?
You spoke
Where?
of assassins to Master Azorn, did you not? Did Trizzle not hear you speak of it?
We
What did I
did.
speak of?
Assassins.
Yes.
Master Azorn is in danger now.
He's
Why?
in danger? Why?
We are all in danger.
Because I said assassins.
Do you know what assassins were following you or who knew about that you had once possessed the tier?
I believe it was the Red Star.
Trizzle does not know this. Is it something from the Mantirum?
No, this was from the neighboring.
It's a Kabul Kailash gang.
Whew. This is a relief. Trizzle was very concerned when you spoke of assassins. One of the powerful houses has long controlled a powerful assassins guild. In
You,
Mantirum.
you mean the Damask people?
Yes.
But they were back in Zemanek, weren't they?
Yeah.
They are in all of the cities. They are a powerful network of spies and assassins. And if it were they who knew about you having possession of the tier, they would stop at nothing, even so far as to assassinate Master Azorn himself.
Oh.
They are a bloodthirsty noble house who seek to ascend to a higher position. It is
Gross.
very dangerous. The politics in the Mantirum are always fraught with great dangers.
That's scary.
The houses greet each other with smiles, but sometimes they have a poisoned dagger in their hand. They
But
cannot be trusted.
Wouldn't Azorn be safe if he's here in his own house? Because isn't this like a magical place? Like the way
Yeah.
that we came in was like a portal or whatever. So
Yes. Safe we are here in the abode of Master Azorn. But careful we must be should we step out. Trizza will try to think of a sneaky way. And then he goes back through the library bookshelf and like closes it behind him. And you see that there's like a secret passage behind the bookshelf and like a little set of spiral stairs that go up.
Can we go in?
Side note, guys. If anything, we could propose the idea next time we talk with Azorn, and I don't scare him with the word assassins. That if he were to relay some of the information to the man Tiram, at least the knowledge we've given him is quite valuable, and maybe valuable enough to barter for Trizzle's freedom.
Oh.
maybe. But we
Yeah.
got to be careful because this is now the second time that we've been told about assassins who are going to hunt us. You know, like I just get flashbacks to the Sinjin dream or whatever.
Yeah,
You
I was
know.
gonna say we also must remember that one of us gonna die.
Also, where's your wife and kids?
Good point.
That was my bad. They're there. They were
Okay.
waiting for you right where you left them off in a little camp by the carriage. And they've been there.
And I go, especially when it's like, Varda, you really missed out. I created a water bubble, and then we went up in a hurricane, and we went down a wave. Bullstrong was having a whole lot of fun.
In the native tribal dialect, she says a word in reference to you, which Areia and Bullstrong both understand to mean witch.
Fair point.
And then she shakes her head and goes up to bed. So Magnus, you take a peek and you see that behind this bookshelf is this little secret chamber and then like a spiral wrought iron staircase that goes up
Awesome.
for like 40 feet up, and it's pitch black.
Can I go up 40 feet?
Yeah.
Nice.
You go up to the top and there's another little landing and there's a hallway and it's a very narrow hallway. It's only like 3 feet wide and it goes down like 100 feet.
I'll
Also
go.
pitch black. All right, you go to the end of the hallway. There's a door.
Sure, I'll open it.
You open
You
it.
sneakily open it, or you're busting
Okay,
in there?
I'll sneakily open it. How about that?
Make a stealth check.
All right.
Hey, what's up? What's going on?
Oh, crap. 15?
Okay. You open this door and you find yourself in a strange room. It's a square room, but the walls are painted to look like it's outside. It's like an optical illusion. Like when you go out through the door, it's like you're standing on the roof of the building. And in each direction, you see like beautiful vistas of like rolling hills and the sky and a horizon line, and it's painted in such a way that it looks very 3D. And also painted on the walls are like brass bars. And you notice the floor has like a bunch of hay. And as you kind of stand in this thing, you look at the ceiling, and the ceiling looks like it's all brass. And you kind of look around and you're like, it's almost like you're in a bird cage, like a room painted to be like the inside of a bird cage. And you see a rope dangling from mid-air, not from the ceiling. It's 10 feet up, and there's a little rope dangling from mid-air.
And that's it?
And you hear like a little song being sung from inside of wherever that rope is going.
Can I tell where?
You kind of like walk around it, and it looks like the rope basically disappears into some kind of magical portal. And
Magic.
from that area, you hear like a little song being sung, but you can't really hear the words, but like you hear the gist of it, and it's. And it's just like kind of repeats it over and over.
Can I throw something into the portal?
Sure. What do you want to throw?
I'll throw a piece of gold up there.
Okay. You throw the gold, and it kind of bounces off midair and then comes back down.
What? It comes back. Okay. Can I try and go into the portal?
You want to climb up the rope?
Sure. I'll start by like putting my finger in it to make sure that like nothing is too funky.
Okay. You climb up the rope. When you get to the top of the rope, the air in front of your face is shimmering, almost like a portal where like you could see this weird kind of shimmering image inside of it, and you try to like put your finger in it, but it doesn't go in. But you can kind of see like the outline of someone crouched down like with a little candle, and it looks like they're writing a book, writing something into a book.
So I can't go in?
You could see inside this shimmering thing, but you can't go in.
I'll say Trezzle?
You see the little form go and like stuff the book into its jacket, and he like crawls over and pops his head out of the portal.
Is that ready?
And he pops his head out of the portal, and he's like, what is Magnus doing here? How did you find Trizzle's quarters?
It's behind the bookcase. That's where you came from.
Magnus should not be here.
Why
Master
shouldn't I be
Eastbourne
here?
will be angry.
Why?
There are secrets.
What kind of secrets?
Magnus should sneak back down.
Wait, but what kind of secrets?
Magnus is kind to Trizzle. Trizzle doesn't want Magnus to get hurt.
Oh.
Please.
All right. I just wanted to say hi, buddy. I'll talk to you later.
He nods and smiles, and then he boops back into his little secret hiding place. So you go back down, push open the library shelf. Your friends are down there. All right, smash cut. Back to the rest of you. What were you talking about while Magnus went on a side mission?
This dragon egg is getting really hot, guys. Like not in a sexual way, like temperature, like very tempered, like hot. Really, it hurts, kind of.
It's fascinating. Hey, so Areia, how do you know? Like, I don't know anything about
I'm
dragons.
gonna press the egg up against your face.
What does it feel like?
Very hot. It's
Oh. So Areia, you are like a religious person. How do you know when you're like connecting with your God? Because I'd like to be more in tune with Vusek, but I also don't really understand how. So how do you for Ayuk? How do you connect with your God and like associate with your element?
I mean, I kind of just pray and think about, where I come from, and I think about what I believe in, and I just sort of have faith that he can hear me, because I mean, I've never spoken directly to him, and like the powers that I have, like they're impressive, but I haven't done something like you have with the milk, and I haven't done something like Amity where he actually talks to his God. Like I've never spoken to my God. I just sort of have faith that he can hear me, and I know based on the things that I can do, I assume that he's listening. And I mean, it's sort of different for me, I guess, because I've been like raised this way since birth, whereas you are just kind of like coming into it. So, I mean, I can show you how to pray if you want. I don't know if it's different for root's sake.
I think that would be helpful because again, like I so far all I've really been doing is like thinking about water-like elements in the world, and sometimes it has the results like yesterday, but sometimes it doesn't quite connect.
Yeah, I mean, I understand that. Like, I tried to pray when we were told about that dream. I tried to pray to Ayuk and see if, you know, he knew something, and I didn't really get an answer. You know, sometimes it's like, you know, it's hard to tell. But that's why, I guess that's why it's called faith, because you're just supposed to, you know, like Vorsu was physically changed when he had the Tear of Deepa, so.
Because I want to
Oh
access...
my god! Capella, wait!
What?
Think about this.
Yes.
Vorsu had the Tear of Deepa and he was physically changed.
Yes.
Who else do we know that we've come across in our lives connected to a god who is physically altered?
That like looked weird?
Yes!
Wasn't...
Don't even finish that sentence. It's Iron Talon, remember?
It was like,
Remember how
well, yeah, he got big and
Green-eyed
green.
and
Yes, what if
long
guys,
and
what if he has the stone? What if it
Where
passed
would he
fire
get
and
it?
he ate it.
And
Well, think
how
about
would...
it. Remember they both had a task. Bullstrong, I know you don't remember, but you were both sent out on a task. We don't know what that task was because no one ever said anything. What if that task was to find the Earthstone?
Bullstrong,
We live in the mountains.
make an intelligence check. Time
Make
to
your
see if you have an
intelligence
amnesia
check.
moment.
Oh my god, if you fail this intelligence check,
All right.
you're sleeping on the couch. That's it.
It's supposed to be a good D20.
Where'd it go?
All right, that's not bad. That's not horrible.
That isn't a terrible roll.
15.
You know what? That isn't the
When-
worst.
15's not bad. So here's the degree of memory. When Areia is explaining this and starting to talk about this, you start to have these flashes of the before the amnesia. You see yourself with a pack of hunters, your friends, chosen friends, sitting across the great fire at the camp with the old chief and the shaman speaking to you, and across the fire from you, you saw your former friend, Iron Talon, as he once looked with his group of people. And you kind of have this flash of this vision of this meeting. And you see the shaman like hold up this tablet, and on the tablet is like a picture of a green stone, like drawn in like chalk. And this, you see this flash and like the flicker, it's like you're right back at the bonfire at nighttime. And there's this meeting and you see like these flashes of Iron Talon and his guys and like your group and the old chief like standing before you and like preaching at you, and the shaman holding up this tablet, and then you like flash back to right now.
Hey, so I remember everything. You lied, Areia. Turns out that the shaman sent me on a mission to get some green rock, which, you know, it could be a very similar green rock, but I feel like it's probably the fang of Ayuk.
Well,
Yeah,
That's-
so what if you both were on that mission and the reason that
I saw
And-
him there. We called him Pebbles because he was short, but he definitely probably shot me in the face totally.
yeah, I mean that doesn't surprise me. But
well,
if that's the case, then we know where the last one, or like we know where another one is.
You know, that explains all the tension every time I saw him, because like I thought we were homies, and every time he looked at me, he looked like he tried to kill me and cover up my body, and I came.
Well, he's always been a very greedy person, sort of power hungry. So it would make
That
sense
sounds like
that he would.
Pebbles.
It would make sense that he would hate you if you were going over like to get something that had a ton of power.
Do you
But if
guys
that's
think
the case,
if he absorbed it, would we have to kill him to get it?
We have to kill Borsu to get hit.
Probably. I mean,
Well,
I-
then we got a bunch of people to start killing.
I mean, we're in a library right now. Maybe we should try and see if, I don't know.
also,
Unattuning a human with a stone or removing the, I don't know.
like,
if there's a way to
maybe
take
this
it out of them.
chosen thing is like wrong, because each state is like the chosen of a thing, like water or fire. But Vorsu also thought he was the chosen of fire.
Postscript. Historically and culturally, you know that there are 5 nations on the continent of New Ofotmai. Malakun, Kabul Kailish, Parmia, the Mantirum, and Hootsi. 5 nations. Now, publicly, you know that Kor Paigambar is referred to as the Chosen of Water, and that title has always been given to the leader of Kabul Kailish, of the theocracy. You were not aware that Vrajator Dumnezu, the leader of the Mantirum, had the title of Chosen of Fire. You are also not sure if you've ever heard of any leader from any of the other countries taking on a Chosen of title. So those are things that you would know, like having grown up and lived on this continent. Okay,
Crazy.
carry on.
Okay.
So, following up on that, would only the chosen be able to absorb a rock, or could someone else do it if they try really hard? And if so, could I absorb a
I
rock?
mean, does eating it count? I don't know if Borsu tried that hard.
Yeah, I mean, there's a 50-50 chance here that either when he's called the Chosen of Water, that it's just a political thing, like he wants his people to believe that he was chosen so that they keep him in power, or he actually is. But that title has been passed down, so I'm thinking that maybe, because also Vorsu is just a normal Vorsu. Like he looked the same like as everybody else did.
But he matured to a pretty high level, so maybe he was just one of the first to grow to that age.
Maybe.
Because often I think they die.
Yeah, they wouldn't fly out. They all stayed at the shore.
But see, he was also like, he thinks that he's the chosen one because he can see all the the lights in the sky. Remember that Amity showed? But
Well,
I
he
think
says
that
Amity is chosen of the void, right?
maybe.
I thought that's what he had said.
That is correct.
Yeah, but if Vorsu is the chosen of fire, maybe it was just because we kept him around Amity, who could see lights in the sky. So maybe if if we had kept any other one of them, they might have seen it too. So I don't know if the chosen of title is specific to one person.
So if it isn't, then I could try to absorb the stone.
Eat it, eat it, eat
I'm not
it.
eating it. I don't know where it's been.
In the ocean, and a pocket.
And in a crevice of a statue.
Water elemental.
That's funny.
But yeah, I know there's not a lot of great places here to study Vusake, because people don't necessarily, there's not a high market for the water god in this area, but I could still try to find more information.
But you know who we might be able to get information from? Finoop.
Wazoo.
Well, maybe Blazu, but Finoop. Like, we haven't
What if
spoken to him at all.
Blazu is the chosen of fire? Because he had that fire dream. That'd be crazy.
Maybe.
All right,
maybe
sorry.
he is.
Carry on, Jordan. You were about to say something very important.
I was gonna say, maybe we should talk to Finoop because it's been forever since we spoke with him. He's the one who hired us to do all this stuff that we're now in the middle of. I'm thinking that if anybody knows anything about them, that he might. And we can call him, unless he's still, trapped in the void with some demonic entity that's got a hold of him.
Well, you're messaging him this time because last time I got a brain blast. So
Yeah, but I was the one that brought you back. If I get a brain blast, none of you can heal me. I'll just die.
I think you'll be fine.
If you get brain blasted again, I will save you.
I'm gonna cry. Don't do it. So I'll try. What do you want me to say?
Just tell him that we need to talk to him about very important stuff and that we would prefer to speak in person if he's not currently captured by some entity.
Not in the fucking void. Okay.
But make
Then
it
I'll
sound urgent. Make it sound like we actually need to talk to him and that it
put
can't
it
blow us
there.
off.
I put in the message and I'll say to Lord Finu, whatever. He gave us the real name and I already don't remember. But we must speak urgently. Revelations have occurred. When can we meet in person? Is that the right number?
You got 14, so you have 11 more words left.
In Mantirum currently speaking to the nobles. That's all the information I can't think of 5 more words that would be useful.
Anybody else want to give Capella 5 more words to share in the message?
Am I back?
In capital
Yes,
with
you're back.
Master Azorn.
Nice.
In capital with Master Azorn. Perfect. You touch the tattoo, it glimmers and burns slightly. You send your message and you wait. The library shelf creaks open as Magnus pops his head back in. Magnus, go ahead.
What I miss?
Do they have better books back there or something?
First of all, what'd you find in there? Is there spooky stuff?
I just went up a really tall staircase and down a really long hallway, and I found a weird room painted to look like outside, and also okay, so the room was painted so that you're like in a bird cage, and then I found a rope with a little portal, and Trizzle was in there.
You just
And
went in his room?
Dude,
uninvited?
invasion of privacy.
Well, yeah, apparently I wasn't supposed to be there.
What exactly?
I don't like when people just run into my sleeping quarters all willy-nilly. I can see why.
What was he doing?
I don't want
I think he was writing, but it wasn't that Trizzle was upset
You
that
think?
I was there.
He was right.
I couldn't get into the portal that Trizzle was in, but it wasn't Trizzle that was upset with me being there. He said Master Azorn would be upset with me being there, so.
Well, yeah, you're his guest in his slave sleeping quarters.
But
It's not
why would
really
he care
Gucci.
about that? Yeah.
Plus, Trizzle just has a lot of information that we are not supposed to know.
I guess. But yeah, so that's what happened on my end. Trizzle was like, get out.
Writing?
Yeah, he was writing. I think I couldn't.
He was writing, or
he was just singing a little tune and writing. I have no clue what he was writing, but all I know is
memoirs?
that
A song.
Trizzle said it was dangerous and that I should get out.
autobiography.
And I was like, cool. So
Well,
what
while
I
you were
missed-
gone. Areia figured out cool things.
We know where the Earthstone is. Iron Talon has it.
Yo.
Think about this. Like I told Capella, Borsu was physically changed by absorbing the stone of the fire god. Remember when we saw Iron Talon and we were like, huh, that's weird. He's way bigger and his eyes are green and he is like super strong now. What if he has the Earthstone and he absorbed it like Borsu did? So I think
Yes.
we
More
need to go
importantly,
ahead.
what if I can absorb one? That'd be
Yeah,
dope.
Capella wants to eat the stone and
I don't want to eat the stone.
How else
Um,
would you absorb it?
Magnus, when you saw, oh, wait a minute, you wouldn't have seen it clearly because it was in the shimmering part of the portal. Forget it.
No.
I was going to tell you what the book looked like, but you didn't see the book close up enough.
Dang it.
Carry on.
That's the Death Note.
So the Iron Talon thing makes a lot of sense, actually.
So he cheated. That doesn't.
Yeah.
That's not fair. That doesn't. I wasn't allowed to cheat. I mean, I tried, and no one saw it, so I
Wait,
didn't cheat.
Loki did.
But he cheated.
You want to try my rock?
No, I need to
Loki
prove it.
did cheat.
And then
now
what
we
if I just ate it?
No.
Bullstrong, Bullstrong, upon this realization, you're kind of mad. You do feel like he cheated. You're like, I would have beat him in a normal fight. You feel like your honor was like betrayed.
well, now we have something to go back to the tribe and confront him about, because again, honor is a very big deal and cheating is a big no-no. And if we can prove that he cheated, because I have a spell that if it works, I can make him admit that he cheated. And then we can have a real
Nice.
honest combat. And then
I don't
get
think we
your honor back.
can.
Or
As
at
long as
least
he has
get
the
his
stone
honor.
absorbed, it's not going to be fair. Like,
But I mean, there has to be some other way that we can at
What
least
if we
get
bring two
him-
people with absorbed stones? Then we
What if
outdo
we-
because two is bigger than one, and fire beats grass and earth kind of.
This isn't Pokemon.
All right.
Suddenly, Capella, your tattoo begins to glow. It's very warm, and your mind is flooded with a message. The voice of Tertingi Malakuni
Who the
speaks to you.
I don't know.
That's Shinu.
And he says, not sure what you are doing in Mantirum. Hope you
Hitting fire.
have some stones. I am in Kabul Kailish by Mukaddis Suv. Meet us in Togitagi. I'm going to say Togitagi counts as one word.
Oh, cool.
Now, do you remember where Togitagi is?
Is it next to the lake?
No, Mukata is.
Yashirin Mabad is the town next to the lake. Togitagi is the little village
I
up the river
definitely
up there,
remember.
where you guys
Okay, give me
actually
my phone.
first went to the Shrine of Ayuk.
Yeah, it's right by where the Goliath tribe is in the mountains and between the lake.
Mm-hmm.
Like super northeast.
A hamlet modest-sized to the north of Yashirin Mabad.
Yep.
At the foothills of the mountain. And it has the earth shine. That's where we started.
Yep.
This is full circle. It's pretty meta.
Man.
I think he's gonna be kind of
now,
mad we still only have one.
that is the extent to which he's able to respond to your message. Bear in mind that technically you could send and receive another message if Areia were to use her tattoo.
So I'm gonna relay what he said to me. I'm gonna relay this information to them.
Okay.
Wow.
He said we. Do you think he's with
we.
Trixie and Trixie and
He said meet us. He did say us.
or yeah.
Yeah,
So you think he's with like Trixie and them?
I guess so. Or maybe, I don't know, maybe he's with somebody else.
I mean, Forstu isn't us.
Well, because obviously we know we have water. Borsu has fire. Iron Talon has grass. Who has air? Or did we have does nobody know? I thought
we
Trixie
don't
was
know.
going to go get them.
Maybe them. I mean, she like.
I mean, we don't know. I guess if we ask him, maybe he knows where it is.
Well, didn't Vem like yell at me last time?
Yeah, she had Finu with her.
Yeah,
You
so
can
maybe
have.
Well, maybe Finoop has the air then.
Well, he was like, "Hope you have a bunch of stones."
How much? There's not that many, dude. I don't know.
Exact. Well, he's saying.
well, if I send him a message.
Did we tell him we lost the firestone?
No.
What if we tell him we didn't lose the firestone? It just relocated inside of.
No, don't tell him that. He's gonna be mad.
We should just
If he
whatever we're
has
gonna
remove
tell
stone spell.
him. Yeah.
I mean, I don't think we could really hide it.
He'll
What if
figure
I
it
send
out.
him a message? What if I send him a message and I tell him that we're on the hunt for stones and that's what we're doing here, but we ran into some complications and that's why we have to talk to him? Because we did. The firestone went missing. We found it in Vorsu, but now Deepa's gonna wake up and blow up the whole planet. And also Iron Talon has the other one, but he absorbed it. So
Yes. Okay. I don't know how you're gonna fit that in.
it's okay. I'll fit it in.
That's a lot.
She's a poet.
All right. Are any of the rest of you, while Jordan's working on the message, are any of you guys doing anything in the library?
Can I attempt to read? I know they don't have a lot of literature, but more about Vusek.
Yes. Because of the extensive library of Master Azorn, I will let you make a religion roll +4 to your roll.
Wait. 16 plus 4.
Mm-hmm.
Math. 8. Yeah.
20.
Okay. 20. I guess.
Okay. So you spend a little bit of time researching. Magnus, what about you? And Bullstrong, what about you? What are you guys doing?
I want to find a well-illustrated red dragon.
Oh, okay. So you start looking through books about dragons. Go ahead. I'll let you make a Arcana roll with a +4.
That's one, right? Ooh! Where did
Wow.
my papers go? They disappeared.
You must have found. They're under your folder in the Charleston
Well, you put
Shoes.
the
Oh
folder
my
on top
God.
of it. All right, hold on. Arcana. So I got -1, and you said plus what?
+4.
Okay,
Plus
so
3.
+3, so 21.
Wow.
Thing
Okay.
is,
You're researching dragons. All right, Magnus, what are you doing?
Aha!
All
I can
research
read
Deepa.
now.
Researching Deepa. Good. Same thing. I guess you could make a religion check +4. You know what? Or investigation, actually. +4. Either one.
oh gosh, investigation for Magnus.
Say
Alright, plus
36.
I didn't roll that well though. It's a
Oh, that
that
22.
would be-
Okay.
Oh, not that well. Oh.
All right. I will get back to you guys. Jordan, do you have your message ready?
Yes.
Okay. So Areia concentrates. Her tattoo begins to glow. And then your mind opens up and you speak the message.
It's exactly 25 words, by the way.
Yes.
Okay. I say, we're on trail of crystals, but ran into some complications. Need to speak in person immediately. We can ride to Togatagi any way there faster. That's what I say.
Okay. You wait some time. All right. While we're waiting for the return message. So, Capella. You find some interesting lore about Vusek that speaks of the establishment of Mukadas Suv as a sacred lake. And in this text, you were able to uncover that there was a time before Kabul Kailish had become a magocracy, when it first started off as a kingdom, and that one of the early kings went to the lake and actually found Vusek herself living in the lake. And that Vusek told him that he must create Kabul Kailish as a theocracy and a religious state, a religious nation, to defend all of the elemental gods, but that her patronage would be the most sacred, and this lake would be his testament to that. And that's how the title of Chosen of Water was started. And that's like a story that took place 2,000 years ago.
Wow.
Bullstrong, you actually find some very interesting literary resources that provide you with quite a bit of the science behind dragons. And specifically, you're kind of looking for red dragon stuff. And it talks about, red dragons basically being paranoid naturally. They typically lay their clutches of eggs in hard to reach areas that other creatures could not get to, and that they defend their young like voraciously. And that during this time, like once the mating is consummated, the male basically flies away in fear, because the female will like devour him if he gets too close to the nest. And this behavior is maintained until after the hatchlings are then wormlings, and then after they've become young adult dragons, then basically the mother dragon kind of kicks them out of the nest. But that for the duration while they are wormlings, that the mother dragon is fiercely protective in the same way that she is with the clutch of eggs.
It sounds like this was really hard to get.
You also find out the fact that the hatching of the eggs typically requires an extraordinary amount of heat. And often this is generated by the mother through extended fire breath on the eggs, that they are born out of fire. That there have been a few cases of dragon eggs hatching without a mother. In some cases, if the mother was slain and the clutch of eggs was left to its own devices, sometimes those things were hatched through other extraordinary circumstances, including volcanic eruptions and geysers that emit extraordinarily hot gases and liquids.
Where would we find one of those?
Magnus, you uncover some interesting things about Deepa. As you've come to learn, Deepa is typically depicted as some kind of short-statured humanoid form. In most of the cultures, something like a dwarf, although often without hair or maybe just a beard of fire. But definitely like a burly, stout dwarf kind of build. But you're able to discover some texts that have a different perspective, and these are written by scholars from the Mantirum, who reveal that Deepa actually walked the earth as a fire giant, that he actually used to walk around New Ofotmai as a fire giant. And in his path, everything burned. And there's a reference to the other elemental gods imprisoning Deepa, because basically his element was so chaotic and so entropic that everywhere he traveled, it would just destroy everything and burn everything down.
Great.
All right, Jordan. After some time, there is a response. cannot use my magic in the Mantirum. Dangerous. Leave Mantirum City and message me when you are clear. I will then teleport you to us. Boom. 25 on the fly. That's what you get.
Okay, so I will tell everybody that. I will say, Finoop clearly needs to speak to us, but he says that he can't come to the Mantirum to do it. So he says we have to get out of the city and then message him when we're clear of the city, and then he'll teleport us to where they are so we can talk.
So how far?
Probably just in the middle of the wilds, I would assume, like away from cities and stuff. Because I assume if he tries to use his magic in the Mantirum, they'll notice and they'll,
Are we
mad.
going to finish our work here?
I mean, I did learn about dragon.
What are we gonna do about Vorsu?
The most that we can do is hope that whatever sign he's looking for doesn't come. But I don't know that there's anything that we can do right now, is there?
Should we wait for what Azorn says in the morning?
Yeah, obviously.
I mean, we could just flee at night if he's gonna be like, okay, I'll turn you in for my state. That would be unfortunate.
that would be unfortunate.
Also, maybe tomorrow if we reason with him, maybe he'll let Trizzle come with us? If he does choose, because some of the information would, oh, I see. Some of the information wouldn't be the worst for them to know. Sorry, Yukon wants to do D&D. But like if they don't know we have a stone, but they could know about the mouth or some of the powers that the stones hold.
I mean, I guess so. I think if we tell Azorn, like, hey, we need to go talk with somebody who actually might know more about these things, and then we can just come back.
I'm sure there's another magical way Azorn could communicate with us. Or he could let Trizzle come with us while he still has the ankle bracelet, and Trizzle could gain information with us. And then when Trizzle has learned more about the stones and such, he could call him back and then relay that.
Yeah. Plus, I have a way I can communicate with anybody on the continent if I know them.
Cool.
So, like, I can just send them a message.
Many
but I think
options.
that's smart. I think we should ask if Trizzle can come with us. Say that we need to talk to somebody, just somebody. Don't say who. Just say somebody that knows more about this. And then, yeah. Because we have to figure out how to get the stone out of somebody before we can do anything with Vorsu.
Or how to get the stone in somebody. Don't say it again, Bullstrong. I swear to God. Swear to gods. Don't say it again.
I mean, you could use the other end. I just
What did I just say?
didn't talk about.
For sake, damn it.
I didn't talk about eating it.
Sit in the corner.
Are you?
Yeah, so I think that's a good plan. We should, tomorrow morning, tell them that we have to go talk to somebody, ask if Trizzle can come with us with the ankle bracelet on, go outside of the city, get teleported, speak to him, figure out what to do about Vorsu, figure out what to do about Iron Talon, figure out what to do about your stone.
I did find slightly more information about the Chosen of Water. The story about the original king going to Mikada's Suv and speaking to Vusek, and Vusek had told him to form Kabukai Lesh, and that the water would protect all the other elements. So, maybe when we're in Togatagi, we could go to Mikada's Suv again, do some studying. I could just lift the whole lake up. We could do many things.
So it's relatively late. You guys are tired. You've had an exceptionally long day at the bottom of the ocean. So you decide to go to bed, fair enough. You sleep blissfully in the comfort of the luxurious abode of Master Azorn. And in the morning, you are roused by the sound of a harp playing in the distance. It's like the most soothing alarm clock you've ever heard. You guys all get up. You descend for breakfast. Everyone is there. Varna's there. Young Storm is there. Trizzle is there. Master Azorn is there. And Sinjin. So you guys are at this large banquet table full of food. Everybody's eating. And at a certain point, Master Azorn looks up across from you and he says, after a great deal of pondering and meditation on the subjects related to what we discussed last night, my friends, I have found myself actually in quite a precarious position. I have some concerns that if other houses within the Mantirum find out about what you are in possession of, or what you know regarding the Tear of Deepa, it could put me into a rather dangerous position. There are other noble houses that could use this information against me to paint me as a traitor to the High Wizard, which of course is ludicrous, but there are quite a bit of manipulations that happen between the different noble houses. On the other hand, there could be outright maneuvers to try to acquire that which you have, or to acquire the information that you know about the Tear of Deepa. I have found that despite my enjoyment of your company, it might be in my best interests if you were not in the Mantirum anymore. And in your best interests. I have gained information that perhaps there is someone already aware of your presence here. Do you know if there is anyone who is aware of the fact that at one point in time you had the Tear in your possession, other than the people who you confided in Kabul Kailish?
Amity does know.
The Red
Would Lady
Star
Damascus know?
I don't think
She
so, but
she
I
seemed
was-
to act quite strangely around us, but
because I was gonna ask you, because when I thought someone was tailing us, it was Lady Damascus, right?
Yes.
You had
So I don't think she knows, but I would definitely be careful. Because she was literally tailing us and is part of a large assassin group. So like,
Blazu knows. Canoop
but
knows.
Blazu's fine. Like,
If the Red Star know, and they
The
were
Red
on
Star
the border,
knows.
so maybe I don't know if the Red Star are here too, but they might know.
Well, they might
I
communicate.
thought they said
if the Red Star knew, they would have come after us again by now.
But
Well, because they had
knew that we had the
found out
Tear.
that
Remember on the
we
lake
lost
shore?
it.
Yeah, remember on the lakeshore when we were confronted by that guy and we told him that we lost it and he knew that we were telling the truth.
Yeah, so if they thought we
But
had a stone, they would have come after us, right?
who would have hired the Red Star to follow you and try to acquire the Tear of Deepa from you.
We've had people following us the second we got it. Before we even were traveling with them, me and Areia had taken it out of a temple in Togatagi.
Yes.
And the only other person that we told that we had it was...
You found, pardon me, just to be clear, you found the Tear of Deepa in a temple in Togatagi. Just
Yes.
found it there.
The
It
temple
was
of
in
Areia,
the Earth Temple in a dead man.
who was covered in little
Great
fire
hiding
demons.
spot.
I see.
And the only person who knew about that, we didn't tell him, but that high wizard guy from the king's court knew about it, even though we didn't tell him, because he asked
Anoop
us
also
about
knew.
it.
Master
Anoop is...
Master Azeron? The wizard that serves Kor Paigambar.
I'm not sure I know his name, but like super snarky, very egotistical,
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
very suspicious looking. Yeah,
I have had interactions with him while in my alternate persona.
yeah, I don't trust him, and I haven't trusted him from the second that we met him. Because when we were telling Kor Paigambar about all the stuff that has been happening, he let slip, like the wizard let something slip that wasn't anything that we said, and when I confronted him about it, he just like waved it off and pretended like he didn't say anything. So I know that he knows something, but obviously we don't know what he knows.
I must confide that this is even more reason for a great deal of concern. I am certain now that it is not safe for you in the Mantirum. And I'm
That's...
beginning to question whether or not it is safe even for me.
Kind of wanted to.
We were just implored to be leaving soon anyway by our somewhat of an employer.
Contract.
That who had sent us originally to find these stones and to protect them has called us back to Togatagi to meet and share our knowledge.
That could be dangerous, you realize,
Why would that be dangerous?
because you are in possession of possibly one of the most sacred artifacts of the theocracy. To return to Kabul Kailish with it in your possession could bring charges of treason upon you.
Mm.
To even trespass in their sacred lake, if I'm not mistaken, is a death sentence, is it not?
Yeah, familiar with that.
It's kind of easy, but
So no deaths.
Well, this indeed gives me great pause. And you feel that you can trust this ally of yours.
mediocre. We don't know much about him from the beginning of our travels. It's only gone by, what was his real name, Areia? Something Fanu?
I don't know that we can say in out of respect of privacy concerns.
That is true, but he was quite mysterious. But I'm assuming we can trust him.
Ooh, I wouldn't say we trust him, but if anybody
will at
knows more
least-
about this, it's him. And he hasn't killed us yet, so we trust him in the same way that we trust almost everyone that we've come across. Which is not a lot, but we kind of have to.
Trust them until they stab us in the back.
The question is how can you get out of the Mantirum safely? I am wondering if it's possible, in my guise as the Baron, to smuggle you out. Or at least to smuggle you out of the city.
We could try that.
From there, perhaps you can make your way carefully through the Mantirum and to Kabul Kailash.
Yeah, if we can get out of the city, we can find a way to do the rest of it. We just have to get out of here without people knowing.
And what of your friends and your wife and son, sir?
We plan, because we kind of don't want to come back to the Mantirum.
Yeah, it's dangerous too.
I think we have to go to Kabul Kailash and then maybe the
Could they just come with us, or would that be too dangerous?
I suppose it is possible.
I mean, clearly they probably want Goliath leaving the Mantirum and not really coming in.
I wish that I knew more about those who were seeking you. I have an idea. I would like you to prepare to depart, but allow me some time to conduct a ritual of divination to determine if this course would lead to you safely escaping the Mantirum. Let us reconvene in 2 hours.
All right.
He stands, bows, leaves the room. During this whole time, Trizzle basically has been pretty quiet. Sinjin's been pretty quiet. Varna and Storm have been their usual selves, eating a lot of food. Sinjin looks out at you all, and you notice Sinjin seems very tired. Like there's bags under her eyes. She's just kind of like, almost like just out of it.
Sinjin, are you okay?
I am not okay.
What happened?
I barely slept last night.
Why?
I had many strange dreams. I have been trying to decipher them, but they were very unclear.
What did you see?
I saw a silver tower. I saw Amity. He was in chains.
Oh no.
I saw a cruel woman. She had electricity shooting out of her fingers, and she was shocking him, and he was screaming in pain. I heard the voice of Taik, but I could not understand the words. It was very troubling.
What did the silver tower look like?
It was a very tall tower, seemed to reach up into the sky, and the walls of it were silvery and reflective like a mirror, much like this home when we were on the outside.
What
I
shape?
don't think I've ever seen this tower before.
What shape was the tower in?
It was like a huge spire reaching into the sky like a shard.
Okay. I'm sorry you had to see
Um,
that, Sinjin.
You guys can make intelligence checks. Straight intelligence checks.
4.
And
4.
15.
There's something about the mention of the Silver Tower. It rings a bell, like you've heard that term before.
Was that the school?
The school was the Academy of the Silver Dragon. So
Oh no.
Dude, they stole him.
tortured school.
They stole him.
No.
Tough case.
Guys, we gotta go.
We sent him.
We
to
also
Soviet-
have to literally save this whole continent.
But we gotta go
Oh.
get Amity.
do you want me to send
Who
Amity a
wanted to
message?
go in the first place?
Do you want me to send Amity a message and ask him if everything's okay?
Yes.
Okay, I'll cast sending and I'll send a message to Amity. And I will say,
Could be a problem.
is everything okay over there? Sinjin's been having really weird nightmares involving you being hurt.
You wait a few moments, and then to your relief, you feel a message coming from Amity. Everything here is great. I feel like I have found a home. The teachers are nice. They have good food. How are you guys doing?
I'll say to everybody, well, Amity said that he's great. He said everything's fine. Sinjin, do you know in the dream what that woman looked like? With the electricity hands or whatever?
Okay, but does that sound like Amity though?
Yeah.
She was cruel looking.
Well,
Cruel. She was a tiefling with purple skin and sharp horns, and she wore a robe of black with little flowers on the robe.
Wait, that's Lady Damasks, isn't it?
yeah.
She was a black robe with a silver rose on it.
Alright, we gotta find her.
What if we
Alright, I'll
get
s-
out of the Mantirum like we're supposed to?
I'll send one more message to Amity, and I will say, we're doing okay. Have to leave the Mantirum for a little bit. Please be careful of purple tieflings. Let us know how you're doing. Love you and miss you.
So he can message you back, right?
Yeah, I cast sending again, so.
Okay. I'm trying to think of how Amity would say this. What the hell? You're kind of freaking me out. Why do I need to be careful? Wait, in your message, did you you guys are dicks. In your message, did you specifically say the Damasks?
Purple tieflings.
No, I said be careful of purple tieflings.
Probably hurt his teachers.
A lot of purple tieflings here, but okay.
We gotta tell him about Lady Damasks.
You're gonna waste all your spell slots
Yes.
Laurel
having a
dress.
phone call.
You want me to send him my last message that I can send him?
But he
He's
might.
fine.
I
He's
told him
fine.
I told him to be careful of all purple tieflings, and he said that he would.
Okay, but what if he thinks he can trust Lady Damasks?
Tomorrow.
He's purple. And he already was with us when he
Alright.
saw that the Damasks were being shady at that party.
All right. I'll send one more message, and I'll
Oh,
send my
Lord.
last one.
I mean,
And
you
I will
don't have
say-
to, but
No, it's fine. And I will say, be careful of the Damasks. They might be hunting us. Be careful. Don't tell anybody about the information we know.
Floral dress.
Yeah. Well, he knows what the Damasks look like. And I will say, just be careful. Keep in touch, please. We'll tell you more tomorrow.
Okay. You wait a few moments. He responds. Lady Liana Damasks is the headmistress of the school.
No.
I knew it. I knew
No.
Wow.
She seems okay, but I'll be careful and not trust her if I can.
We gotta go get him.
All right. I'll tell them what he told me.
Let's
I'll
do
say,
it.
I don't know that we can get him. He's currently in like a huge academy that's got very tight security.
But he's obviously in danger.
So as you guys have been like doing this and relaying this, St. John's there. And St. John's like, I could go.
You want to go
Yeah.
find Amity?
Would you, Sinjin, go?
You can't go by yourself.
I could go find it.
Can.
Taik will lead the way.
Yeah. I mean, I'm thinking that's our best option right now because there's no way that we can go and pull him out of that school, nor would he want us to. So I think if Sinjin just went and kept an eye on him until we got back. Because, like, Sinjin had the dream about one of us dying, and it hasn't happened yet. So I don't know but I don't know that it means immediately. I think we have a little bit more pressing matters to do.
I
And
think
then we
that's
can-
pretty pressing.
Well, we don't know what the dream means. It could be a metaphor for something. Like when Ayuk speaks to me, it's never always directly what's going to happen, you know? Sometimes it's just a metaphor.
But torturing, even
But
if
metaphorical
torturing is a metaphor,
Yeah,
that's
I
a bad metaphor.
well, but what are we supposed to do? If the people in the Minterum find out that we have this magic stuff,
We need to
We're
leave
not-
the Mantirum. We will die.
we
They will
can come
assassinate
back
us.
though. Once we talk to the person we need to talk to and figure out what's going on, we were gonna come back anyways. And if it turns out that Amity is in trouble, we can just come back, you know, and then come rescue it.
But what if it's too late?
But that's why we're
He
sending
will be
Sinjin.
fine. He has his own strengths as well. Not everything that Sinjin dreams is automatically real.
I think he will be okay for like the 1 to 2 days that we will be gone. If it's that concerning to you, we'll just go speak and then come right back.
Plus, like, we need to actually try to work on the whole stones thing. Speaking of which, do you guys want to ask Master Azorn about Frizzle?
Yes.
And see if you want to try to reason with him and see if Trizzle can come to aid us and, you know, give him information, then you can try that with whatever charisma stats you have. But
Me?
I mean,
who can convince?
we could ask for one last bit of hospitality since it seems like mandatory.
Well, that's not like hospitality. It's like giving somebody
As one last gift to your guest who you're supposed to take very good care of, just give me your slave for at least a little bit, or like a free trial, and then he
We're
can come
gonna be
back
fine,
once
like
we have our
it's-
stone.
Who has the best charisma?
Not me.
What's your number, Magnus? It's neither of these big idiots.
I could.
I got a 14. How about you guys?
Well, we have the same.
got
So
13.
You know who had an
Okay.
amazingly high charisma?
Amity.
I know.
God dang.
All right. Several
Frizzle.
several hours pass by as you guys are like packing up your stuff. You're talking about all this stuff meantime. You get everything kind of ready to go. And you are called back down to Master Azorn's parlor. When you arrive, you see Master Azorn sitting in a chair. And he has a blanket around him. And he's like shivering.
Master Azorn, are you okay?
And it's not cold at all. It's like an even like 72 degrees. He's
Is he
like,
dying?
Are you okay?
Are you dying?
I have divined a path. I have divined a path.
What?
I know a way to get you out of the Mantira. We will leave here. I will take you to a place in the countryside, halfway between Orisvechi and Zidmer. I have never been to this place, but I saw it in my vision. There we will find a stone. There is a circle of trees near a creek, and in the center of the circle, in the earth, is a stone with a symbol on it. It is a magical place. That is all I can tell you, for I have never been to this location.
Crazy.
We should depart soon.
What's
I will
wrong?
transform into my alternate persona. Trizzle will accompany us. Rafe and Oli will drive the wagon. And you all will join me in the wagon.
Your vision, though?
I am not sure what will happen after we drop you off at this location. My vision was clouded in a way that has never occurred.
Scary.
When did you have this vision? Just now? Is this why you're shaking?
It was when I performed the divination ritual.
Scary.
There were other things that I saw in the divination. Things that I
Like what?
do not understand, but I am not sure if they pertain to you or not.
Could you tell us anyways, please?
Yeah, we might know some things that you don't.
Yes, I saw a great circle, a massive circle of swirling lights. Like a doorway floating in the air.
No.
I saw an eruption of flame. I saw a giant with green eyes. And I saw a great swirling hurricane. The largest storm I could ever see, circling in the sky above. I saw all of these things.
Most of
Then
those
I-
are not good.
Then I saw death.
What?
Oh.
What do you mean death?
I saw a figure in robes, a person of flowing shadows with purple eyes. It was death, and it was there to claim someone.
Who?
I don't know. The vision ended.
Tragic.
Hmm. Well, thank you for telling me, and I'm sorry you had to go through this.
We will depart shortly, my friends. Allow me to conduct the necessary spell work to finalize my transformation into my alternate persona. I just need a few moments to recuperate my mental strength.
If you need anything, let us know.
He stands and he walks out of the room. So you guys are in the parlor. You have all of your stuff ready to go. Trizzle's there, St. John's there, Varna's there, Storm Mountain's there. What do you do?
So, from that,
Is Trizzle or is Sinjin going to go look after just check on Amity?
Yes, St. John will accompany you to get out of the city. And then once out of the city, St. John's plan is to peel south towards Astraflow.
Varna, Iron Talon cheated like so hard.
That's a weird thing to bring up right now.
She says, what
Yeah.
do you mean he cheated?
I'm just so mad. He ate that green rock and it made him like way stronger, and he used it to push me into the fire.
What do you mean he ate that green rock?
Okay,
Well,
how did he go through puberty like again?
you know the
No one
witch
really
power.
knows. He returned after you were gone. He returned to the tribe and he had changed. The
You know
shaman attributed it to something having to do with what the oracle on the White Peak had spoken of. But no one was ever told what that meant.
You know the witch powers that you referred to that I use with this blue stone.
Yes.
These are attributed to every god. There is one for Ayuk. And if you are bound to that god, you can use it to enhance your powers. And if you are attributed enough to that god, it can become part of you and enhance your strength. He had grown so much and had that green in his eyes like he hadn't before. It's possible he has the one of these for Ayuk's power and has bound it to himself, which would then be enhancing his skills unfairly.
She listens to you say this, and then in her own dialect, which Bullstrong and Areia understand, she says, "Oh, that cheating bastard!" Oh, and she you just see her growl, and she's angry. So you guys
The
are
same exact way.
You guys are in the parlor. Sometime shortly thereafter, the door opens, and you see not the silver, elegant form of Master Akbar Azorn, but rather the pudgy, corpulent, obnoxious-looking Baron Arzak. And he strolls in, and he's like, "Well, the time has come. Come, let us go, Trizzle. My friends." You guys follow him out. The shimmering door opens. The ramp appears. You see Rafe and Oli at the bottom with a long stretch carriage. You guys all get in. It is a bit crowded, admittedly. Even in the stretch carriage, it's a bit crowded with everyone in there. Rafe and Oli are riding up front, driving the carriage and riding shotgun. And you hear the sound of the carriage starting to move. Your first half an hour of travel through the city to the outskirts of the city is uneventful. You leave the city, you go through the main gate and begin heading west, approximately in the direction of where Master Azorn feels you will be able to find this sacred stone place. A couple hours go by, very uneventfully. Occasionally you hear the sounds of other travelers on the road. And at a certain point, Master Azorn is like, Rafe, head southwest off the road. And then the ride gets a little bumpy for a while. It's, you know, a lot of up and down bumping and stuff. You travel for a few more hours. And at a certain point, Master Azorn is like, Rafe, do you see a creek with a circle of trees? Sure do, sir. That is the location we are going to. Please continue. Take us there. A few more bumps in the road, in the absence of a road. And then the carriage stops. Master Azorn is like, I believe this is the space. Come, let us find this stone. And the carriage door opens, and you guys all get out. And you see very much what he described. See just open grasslands, and then you see kind of a creek and a circle of trees about like 50 yards away. So you guys start kind of walking through the grasslands. You get over this circle of trees, and the trees are not like organic to the area. Like they look like they were very clearly planted. As you get closer and you actually get to the circle, it looks like somebody literally planted these trees in a perfect circle and a perfect diameter. And the space inside of these trees is like natural rock, like bedrock. And Master Azorn walks into this circle and starts looking around. He goes, ah, here. This must be it. This is what I saw in my vision. You guys gather around, and in the center of this circle, embedded into the rock, is this circular disc with a very strange look to it. It looks kind of like iron, but not like iron. It has kind of a dullish gray with an ever so slight hint of like green in it. And stamped into this disc is a symbol. He says, this is the place that I saw in my vision. My divination led me here for you to be able to find some magical way to travel from this point. But beyond that, I do not know how to activate it or use it. I wish you luck, my friends, and safety. I hope for your sake and ours that you are able to resolve this great conflict. That there might be peace once again for those who live upon New Ofotmai.
Thank you for your help.
He looks to Trizzle, and then he looks back at you. Would you do me a favor?
Yes.
Should plots against me arise, and I find myself in a precarious position, I should not want Trizzle to suffer unduly. Would you care for Trizzle?
Of course.
You see Trizzle's like eyes, and his jaw just drops, and his eyes are like wide open. And Master Azorn, in the guise of Baron Arzak, reaches up his poofy sleeve, and you see him removing something. And then he takes off the bracer with the gem in it, and he hands it to Magnus. And he says, There is magic in this bracer. You can summon Trizzle. The ankle bracelet around his ankle is magically connected to it.
Okay. Thank you.
I was looking forward to cutting off his leg.
If you so choose, you can free him. The magic in the bracer can lock or unlock his bracelet.
So we can
I have-
take off his.
Not quite.
You have the power to make that choice now. I have found that on some occasions, Trizzle's rather comical nature has gotten him into trouble, and that the ability to teleport him to me has been a safeguard to protect him. But should you choose to free him from his shackle, you may do so.
Can I tell
Then
if he's being sincere in like
Yes, make an
actually
insight.
just wanting to give Trizzle to us? Because he
Make an
kind of
insight.
fought us over it the last time. Oh, 25.
You are absolutely certain of two things. Number one, you're certain that he is being sincere about this. The other thing that you detect is that he knows something that he seems very sad about, that maybe he's not communicated to you.
I think he's gonna die.
I'll just ask him, you look sad. I detect some sadness in your eyes when you are doing this. Is there something wrong?
I do not know. My divination was cut short. But as I said before, the Mantirum can be cruel and wicked to those who must play the game. I only hope that my faithful service to the Mantirum will quell any suspicions about treason, and that I hope that I made the correct choice in helping all of you.
Do you need to come with us?
I cannot, for I feel that that would only cement suspicions about my intent. I must remain here to defend myself and my house. More important than myself is the prestige of House Azorn. My house must survive.
I wish you the best of luck. And thank you.
Thank you for guarding Trizzle. He has been a good servant, but perhaps more so a good friend over these many years. By the way, at this point, you guys look over and Trizzle is just bawling. There's just there's like tears running down his face, and there's like snot, and he's like, and he falls to his knees, and he just grabs the legs of Master Azor, and he's like, Master, please don't die. Trizzle would be most devastated if you passed from this world. Please don't die. And he's just crying. And you see Master Azor like holding it together barely. He's like, now, Trizzle, you will be safe. These are good people. I have sensed it. Go with them now. And he gently kind of pushes Trizzle away. And he turns without bowing. He steps back several feet, just looks back at you guys and nods. And then he walks out of the circle. After a few moments, Trizzle kind of pulls himself together. And
I'm going to give him a hug.
He accepts your hug, and his tears are all over your clothes right now. And he kind of like pulls it together. And you guys are in the circle. Even Varna was crying from that. A tear came down and she's like, to make sure no one saw it. Sinjin looks at you all and she says, I do not know what lies in store for me, but I do know that amity is important. Taik has revealed that he is part of his plan. And I know that whatever it is, I will do everything I can to defend our friend and make sure that no harm comes to him. I make this vow to you. Perhaps someday we will meet again.
You're a really good friend, Sinjin. Thank you.
She nods. She picks up her backpack, which basically just has like food, some water, some other stuff. And she begins walking out of the circle. She, about 5 feet out of the circle, she stops. Just like out of like mid-stride, just stops. And her back is to you, right? So you're seeing this. And her head shoots up in the air, like looking up in the air.
Sinjin,
There's no response.
I'm gonna run towards her.
You run over towards her.
Mm-hmm.
I go over there
You
too.
hear her muttering a phrase over and over, but it's hard to understand until you get up closer. But she continuously mutters the same phrase over and over. And it's strange because the language doesn't sound like anything you know. But this is what she says as she's staring straight up. Her eyes are totally white. Vjsai, Vjev, Isai, Vim, Upai, Vjiv, Ot, Tanim, Vju, Vjiv, Ac, Naifoain, Upai, Vim, Zom, Jem. She says this over and over.
I feel like we've heard this before. Like we've heard this literal statement.
I'm pretty sure we have, and it was a long time ago.
I think Borsu said it.
The language, though you don't understand it, sounds very much like something that you've heard before. The language, not necessarily the words. After she's repeated it about 10 times, she kind of like snaps out of it. She looks at you guys and she's like, what's happening? Why are you here? How did you come to be here?
You started saying something. Your eyes turned over and you looked up. You stopped mid-stride.
And she looks at all of you and she's like, I don't remember saying anything. I remember leaving and starting to walk south.
Are you sure?
Yes, just a moment ago. How long was I saying things?
Not long, but it was in a language we didn't recognize. It was something, I can't pronounce all of it, but it sounded very foreign, something with Vijay.
I do not know, my friends. Perhaps it was Taik conveying a message.
Okay, well, stay safe, Sinjin, and I'm gonna give her a hug.
She hugs you back and nods. Farewell and travel safely, my friends. And she turns and walks. This time continuing to walk across the open field of grass. Suddenly you smell something strange behind you. You smell like an ozone. And you hear like a crackling noise. And then there's a bright flash of light. You turn around, and inside the circle, standing over that metal disc on the stones, you see Tertingi Malakuni, the blonde elf. He's wearing armor. He has a sword. He has a regal cape. And he looks out at you and he goes, "Hurry into the circle now before they get here." And that is where we'll end this episode of the Medusa. Thanks for watching, everybody. We'll see you next Wednesday. Peace out. Love you. Bye.